Hi, this is the help video for Excel Chapter 2, Pause and Practice 3. We're going to work on the payment function, which is the last few steps of this chapter, step 8 and 9. So the payment function is a super useful function, and what it does is it determines a payment based on a loan amount with a fixed interest rate over a set period of time. So let's go to the Canoes tab, and the scenario here is we're looking to buy 6 and 15 canoes. So we want to see which we can afford, how we can fit it into our monthly expenses. So for 6 canoes, I would have to take out a loan of $4,800. It would take me 2 years to pay it back, and the interest rate I could get was 4.5% annual. For 15 canoes, it would be $8,500. It would take me 4 years, and the interest rate is a little bit more. It's 5.25% annual. So the payment function will tell me for each of these loans what my monthly payment would be. So there's a couple things that you want to understand about the payment function. First of all, interest rates are almost 99.9% of the time given to you as an annualized rate, APR. But the payment function needs that interest rate to be on a periodic, meaning if you think in a year, how many times do you write that check? Do you write a check every month? And most of the time you do. So that would be 12 payments in a year. So this is the annualized rate. You would have to determine the periodic rate. You would do that by dividing this number by 12. That's one thing. The second thing is when you are looking at how what the time period is to repay the loan, Excel needs it to be in the number of periods. So this is given to me in years, but I don't just write 2 checks or 4 checks. I write a check every month. So you would, if you were given the repayment time frame in years, you would multiply that by 12. Okay, so let's run through it and see how it works. So I'm going to put my cursor here on the payment, so that's B7. Payment is a financial function, so we're going to come up here to Financial and find PMT. So 3 things are required: interest rate, the number of payments that you're making, and the present value, which is a fancy way of saying what's the amount of the loan you're taking out. First thing I'm going to find is interest rate. Understand, always you're going to divide that. I mean, there might be a situation, but honestly, it's so rare. So you would always take that interest rate and divide by how many periods you're making a payment in a year. So most of the time that's 12. Sometimes it could be 13, sometimes it could be quarterly, but overwhelmingly you write a check once a month. So you're going to divide that interest rate by 12. This gives you the periodic interest rate rather than the annual interest rate. Second thing, number of periods. You have to evaluate whether or not, so I'm sorry, let me back up. Interest rate, always divide it by how many periods, and just say 12 for now. Number of payments, it depends. If I was given this as the number 24, then I wouldn't have to do anything. But I was given 2. So I need to multiply that because I don't just write 2 checks. I write a check once a month for 2 years. So I'm going to multiply by 12. So for this number of periods, you have to evaluate, is it given to me in months or is it given to me in years? If it's given to me in years, I have to multiply by 12 to get how many months the loan is for. And then present value, that's the loan. Now, your instructions don't have you do this, but I always do put a minus in front, and I'll put it and show you the difference. So present value is the life of the loan. So do you notice here when I put the minus sign in front of it, I get the results as a positive number. And really, you want your answer to be as a positive in case you're going to use that in other formulas. The assignment doesn't have you do that, so I'm just going to put the point to that and not put the minus sign. So the minus sign just reverses the sign, right? Two negatives make a positive. Think back to your math days. In your lab, one of your labs, you have to put the minus. So just kind of pay attention to that. Then the two optional ones are future value or the balance that you want to go. So like if it was a balloon payment, it wasn't going to be to zero. Honestly, I never use that. And then type would be whether or not you're making the payment at the beginning or the end of the period. And also for me, I don't mess with that. But the answer, the instructions want you to put 1, meaning that you make a payment at the beginning of the period. And it does slightly change. See, it's 209 now instead of 210. So I'm going to go ahead and do OK. And that's how much I have to write a check. That's why it's minus. That check is being pulled away from the loan amount. But really having it as a negative answer is not good looking forward. All right, so let's do the next one. And they have you doing it using the longhand, but honestly, it's so early in your learning process. I really think it doesn't matter how you do it, and I think to understand it fully, I really do recommend that you just go back and you do this again for practice. Now, honestly, we could copy this, but let's practice it. So rate, divide by 12, right? Always. Number of payments, you analyze, is it given to me in years or is it given to me in months? If it's given to me in years, you multiply by 12. Present value is the amount you're taking the loan for. Looking forward, you want to make that a negative so that you get your answer as a positive. And then for this assignment, we're doing a type of 1 so that the payment is made at the beginning of the period. Go ahead and do OK, and we got 196. And let's see, that is correct. So we are good. But here you can look at how it is actually written longhand. But honestly, I think this will come. Use the function box to help you through these complicated functions. Okay? All right, so that's it. You can save this file and you can submit it for grade by your instructor. Thank you.